The package arrived 3 days early. That's the first sign something was wrong. Not the contents, a leather-bound photo book, wrapped in thick tissue paper and smug with the scent of glue and good intentions, but the timing. My wife, Mia, had been acting odd lately. You don't need to be a genius to know when someone starts pausing before they speak, when their smile arrives late, and when eye contact feels like you're being tolerated, not seen. I had made the photo book myself, not online. I didn't slap some JPGs into a template and hit print. No, this was handmade. A gift, a gesture, a test, and maybe, deep down, a weapon. That morning, Mia wandered into the kitchen wearing my old college sweatshirt, the one she used to steal from my side of the bed, now casually draped on her like it didn't mean anything anymore. Her phone never left her hand. She kept checking it like it owed her something. She didn't even notice the book at first. When she did, she blinked. "You made this." "I did. For us." "Yes," I said, pouring coffee slowly. "Well, mostly." She opened it at the kitchen table, flipping pages with the same kind of reverence people use when checking a stranger's yearbook. Our honeymoon in Portugal. That Halloween we dressed as Bonnie and Clyde. Before it felt prophetic. Her expression shifted by degrees. A hesitant smile, a sigh, then something else entirely. Confusion. I had placed a photo on page 12 that didn't belong. At least, not in a romantic memoir. It was a blurry image. A security cam still from a parking garage. A timestamp in the corner. Mia, standing way too close to a man in a coat I didn't own. His hand on the small of her back. She stopped turning pages. "What is this?" I didn't answer. I just reached for the kettle and asked, "Tea?" She didn't blink. Just stared at the page like it was a crime scene. Because it was. It is. And the autopsy was just getting started. Over the next 5 minutes, she leafed through 5 more inserts. A receipt from a hotel 2 counties over, a printed text log, a photo of her lying about where she'd been last Thursday. I had arranged them like breadcrumbs in a storybook, each page darker than the last. I sat across from her, sipping coffee. Her hands trembled just slightly. The sound of her phone buzzed once, then again. She didn't pick it up. But she also didn't deny anything. That was the part that got me. Not a flinch. Just a slow, sinking silence. Finally, she looked up. What do you want from me?" I leaned forward. "The truth. But I don't expect it today." She opened her mouth, maybe to confess, maybe to lie, but then snapped it shut again. I could see the gears turning. Mia wasn't stupid. Manipulative? Maybe. Detached? Lately. But never stupid. She knew the photo book was bait. A setup. And she had walked right into it. "I'm going to be late for work," she said, like we were just roommates who'd had an awkward breakfast. "You're not going in today," I said. Calm. Not angry. Not sad. Just done. "Excuse me. You've got plans anyway," I said, tapping the final page. A dinner reservation in her name and his. I made the booking myself. Under her alias. That's when her jaw twitched. Just a flicker. Like a crack in the glass of a windshield. You barely notice it until it spreads. I stood, grabbed my keys, and left my phone on the counter. "Don't wait up," I said. "You've got some reading to do." Then I walked out. And her voice didn't follow me. But the silence did. There's a moment in every haunted house movie where the protagonist hears a noise, pauses, and whispers, "Must have been the wind." This was that moment. The morning after the photo book, Mia acted like she hadn't flipped through a scrapbook of her own secrets. She was in the kitchen again, hair in a loose braid, sipping oat milk like betrayal wasn't in season. I watched her move like nothing had happened, pouring cereal for herself, scrolling her phone, humming. That humming? That was new. See, when someone's guilty, they either confess or they perform. Mia was performing. Smiling a bit too wide, laughing a bit too loud, trying to play the role of loving wife, like it was opening night on Broadway and the audience was blind. I watched her from the hallway. No confrontation. Not yet. I was collecting something more important than evidence now. I was collecting patterns. Like how her supposed Tuesdays with clients had turned into late-night gym sessions with no gym bag, no sweat, and oddly refreshed perfume. Or how her work laptop, once an extension of her body, had recently been left unattended, with new passwords slapped onto her phone like a toddler trying to hide a broken vase. And then there was the purse. The purse had changed. For 10 years, Mia had rotated between 3, a beige tote for work, a weekend crossbody, and a special occasion clutch. Suddenly, there was a new player, sleek, black leather, unbranded. She never set it down. She even brought it to the bathroom once. That night, she went to book club. She'd been doing that for years, same group of women, rotating hosts, occasional wine-fueled gossip. But here's the thing. Book club doesn't meet on Wednesdays. I know this, because I checked her calendar, the shared one we use to track dentist appointments and rent due dates. It was clear, clean. She hadn't updated it in weeks. So I followed her. Yeah, I know how that sounds. But trust me, when your marriage starts to feel like a stage play and you're the only one who doesn't have the script, you start flipping pages however you can. I stayed a full 2 cars behind her. She drove like someone who didn't expect to be watched. Calm, confident. She took the highway south, exited near the business district, then dipped into an underground parking garage near a place called La Brezza. Fancy Italian, the kind where waiters whisper and plates look like modern art. I parked and waited. From across the street, I saw her meet someone at the corner entrance. Not the man from the photo book. Someone else. This one was older, polished, tan. They didn't touch, but the way he leaned toward her, the ease in his smile, told me everything. And the way she laughed, tilting her head just slightly. That was my laugh. She used to reserve that laugh for me. I didn't storm the restaurant. I didn't pull out a camera. I just sat there, gripping the wheel like it owed me answers. I let them have their dinner. I let her keep her performance. Because I needed the curtain to drop on its own. I got home before she did. When she arrived, she made a show of hanging up her coat, kicking off her shoes, and tossing her purse on the couch like she wasn't cradling it like a newborn earlier. I played dumb. She told me the book was intense, said we should talk soon. Not now, soon. That was her favorite word lately. A stall tactic. A parachute. I nodded, then asked her something casual. Something designed to poke the mask. How was book club? Her smile didn't falter. Not exactly. But there was a pause. A microsecond. Oh, she said. It was great. Kara hosted. Did that quinoa salad you hate. I stared at her. Kara moved to Oregon 4 months ago. But I didn't say anything. Just smiled. Glad it was a hit. And that night, as she drifted off beside me, wrapped in blankets and illusions, I reached into her purse. Inside, among the receipts and gum wrappers, was a folded piece of paper. A bill from La Brezza. 2 entrees. 1 bottle of wine. 2 glasses. Date, tonight. Name on the reservation? Mr. and Mrs. Bennett. I don't know who Mr. Bennett is. But I know I'm not him. You ever hear your own name, but not recognize it? That's how it felt reading Mr. and Mrs. Bennett on that dinner receipt. It wasn't just betrayal. It was identity theft, a slow erasure of the man I thought I was, overwritten by someone else's fantasy. She wasn't just stepping out. She was rehearsing a new life. New name. New character. Same face. Same ring. Same house. By Thursday, I'd stopped asking questions out loud. That phase was over. Now I was listening, watching, logging the patterns like weather. Mia thought she was subtle. She wasn't. Her lies had a rhythm. Predictable. Musical. You could almost set a clock to the way she lied. Fridays, she came home glowing. Always claimed she had a great strategy meeting. Always kissed my cheek instead of my lips. Always went straight to the shower before dinner. Not that I needed more proof. The book had already said it all. But I wanted to see the climax. You know? I needed the moment. The moment where her fake world collapsed. Not with a scream, not with a slap, but with silence. So I set a trap. I waited until Saturday morning, when she was in the bathroom doing her makeup. Then I walked in, calm as sunrise, holding my laptop like it was a tray of croissants. Hey, I said, can I borrow you for a second? She glanced at me through the mirror. What's up? Oh, I said, smiling. Just a weird email I got. Says I booked a hotel suite this weekend under someone else's name. I flipped the screen toward her. There it was. A reservation confirmation. Delaney Suites, King Executive. Saturday through Sunday. Guest name, Mia Bennett. She froze. That's the thing about guilty people. They don't react the way you'd think. They don't start apologizing or denying right away. They stall. Mia blinked slowly. What is that? I was hoping you'd tell me, I said. Because I'm pretty sure my name's not Bennett. Yet here we are. She set the mascara wand down too carefully. Stared at the laptop like it might vanish. Then, it's a mistake. Sure, I nodded. A computer glitch. You know what else is weird? That restaurant reservation from Wednesday night was also under Bennett. And the guy you met, not the one from the garage cam, different guy. Older. Looks like he sells yachts to people who wear sunglasses indoors. She didn't flinch, just pursed her lips. Are you tracking me now? Nope, I said. You left the breadcrumbs. I just followed them. Silence. You want to talk about it? I asked. Or are we still pretending I'm the crazy one? That finally got her. Her eyes snapped up. You were acting crazy. Maybe, I nodded. But it's funny how crazy looks a lot like accurate these days. She stood, walked to the door, and paused. You think you're so clever, she said, voice low. But you don't know the half of it. Then she left the room. The half of it? So there was more. She just confessed without realizing it. I didn't follow her, didn't storm down the stairs, didn't grab my keys. I just stood there, watching the empty mirror, waiting for the rest of the truth to catch up. 10 minutes later, I heard the door slam. She didn't come back. Not that day. Not that night. But you know what did arrive? A notification. Mia Bennett just shared a photo album with you. I opened it. It wasn't an apology. It was worse. It was a life. A curated lie. Pictures of her and him, yacht man, smiling, traveling, wine tasting, holding hands on a balcony I'd never seen. And then the kicker. A final image, captioned, "See, you were right. I needed something else." It hit me like frostbite, slow, then sudden. She hadn't just left me. She'd replaced me. You know how people always say, it's not about looks? Yeah, turns out, it's not. It's about posture. The way a man walks into your life like it was his to begin with. That's what I saw when I finally met him. The replacement. The man she'd been building a second life with while I was organizing spice racks and renewing our Costco membership. I didn't go looking for him. He showed up on my front porch. 3 days after Mia vanished into whatever condo she now called home, I was watering the dying ferns she never remembered to touch. I opened the door because I thought it was the delivery guy. Instead, it was him. Tall, trim, dressed like a magazine spread titled Divorced but Rich. Cashmere sweater, aviators, Rolex that probably cost more than my car. He looked me over like I was an Amazon return he didn't remember ordering. Hey, he said. I'm Nathan. Like it was supposed to mean something. I let the silence do the talking. He shifted slightly. Look, I know this is weird, but Mia asked me to stop by. She thought it might help, smooth things over. That word. Smooth. Like this was a paperwork error, not an earthquake. I stepped onto the porch and closed the door behind me. Not angry. Just steady. You're Nathan Bennett, I said. A flicker in his eyes. He hadn't expected that. She told you, he asked. She didn't have to. Credit cards, dinner bills, hotel bookings, she's not subtle. He gave a sheepish chuckle. The kind of laugh men use when they know they've done something unforgivable but are hoping their cologne is distracting enough to soften the blow. Look, he said, hands up in that universal gesture of fake peace. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Mia said things were already falling apart with you. Ah, there it was. The script. The same recycled defense every interloper leans on. She said you were basically done anyway. She also said I was boring, emotionally stunted, and addicted to routine. I replied calmly. He blinked. That last part might be true, I added. But at least I didn't lie about my name while helping a married woman gut her life from the inside out. That got under his skin. I saw it. The subtle shift in his jaw. The way he straightened his shoulders like he suddenly remembered he was supposed to be the confident one. She loves me, he said, like a closing argument. She loved me too, I replied. Then she got bored and changed the channel. You're just the next episode. A pause. Nathan looked away. The man had nothing left in his arsenal but presence. And even that was starting to crack. She's different with me, he muttered. I smiled. She was different with me too, in the beginning. Just wait. He stepped back. I didn't come here to fight. Good, I said. Because you'd lose. He turned, walked down the steps, and pulled out his phone like he needed to check his self-worth via screen time. I watched him get into a black Jaguar and drive off without looking back. Back inside, I sat in the living room, staring at the spot where he'd stood. He wasn't a monster. That was the part that stuck with me. Just a man who saw an opportunity and took it. Mia had made the opening. He simply walked through the door. That's what betrayal really is. Not a stabbing. A door left just slightly ajar. And now? Now it was my turn to leave something behind. Not anger. Not threats. Evidence. I opened my laptop. Every receipt. Every screenshot. Every overlapping timeline she thought I didn't notice. I had it all. A curated folder labeled Truth Final. It was time to do what Mia never expected. Tell the real story. Publicly. Because if she wanted to rewrite our past, I was going to publish the original. Some men key a car. Some scream into voicemail inboxes. Some throw clothes out the window in a dramatic storm of cotton and polyester vengeance. Me? I opened Google Drive. Revenge doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be true. That folder, Truth, Final, wasn't just a collection of proof. It was a story. One she didn't expect me to tell. She assumed I'd play the role she cast for me. The silent, responsible, slightly pathetic ex. The one who'd bow out gracefully, let her find herself through another man's cologne, and maybe send her a birthday text next year like we were still civil. But I wasn't that man anymore. She took him when she walked out the door. The guy who smoothed over awkward silences and bought apology flowers for arguments he didn't start? He was gone. What replaced him? A writer with receipts. I started small. Sent the folder to 3 people. My brother Luke, my college roommate Ben, and Jenna, Mia's former maid of honor. They were a cross-section of the truth. One would be shocked. One would be furious. And Jenna? Jenna would detonate. 20 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Jenna, holy. *T. She told me you cheated. I stared at the screen. Laughed once, not out loud. The kind of laugh that's just an exhale with memories behind it. Then it spread. The story. Jenna forwarded it to her sister. Ben dumped it in our old college group chat. Luke, bless him, posted a vague but savage Facebook status. Wild when the villain spends a year playing the victim. Especially when the receipts have timestamps. He didn't name names. But she knew. It was only a matter of time. 3 hours later, Mia called me. I didn't answer. She texted, "We need to talk." Still no response. Instead, I kept feeding the fire quietly, strategically. A few more uploads. A few carefully blurred screenshots. No nudity. No explicit content. Just truths. Dinner receipts dated during our anniversary weekend, while I'd been at her parents' house. A timestamped selfie from her spa day, showing a hotel suite in the background, when I hadn't booked. Her voice on a voicemail, accidentally recorded, saying the phrase, "He'd never do anything. He's too good." That's the problem. Too good. I guess that was my crime. Mia wanted chaos. Drama. Danger. She called it feeling alive. And I guess, yeah, there's something poetic about torching your life just to feel the heat. But here's the twist. I still hadn't said a single cruel word about her. No accusations. No tantrums. No cyber war. Just documentation. The internet does the rest when you feed it breadcrumbs and let it chew. I heard from a mutual friend later that week that Mia had a full-on breakdown at her co-working space. Something about a defamation campaign. But truth isn't defamation. It's just inconvenient. The irony? She always said she hated liars. Now, she was surrounded by people who saw her for what she'd become, not evil, not monstrous. Just a liar who thought she was smarter than the truth. And Nathan? Oh, Nathan didn't take it well. Apparently, he wasn't thrilled to learn he was Plan B. Turns out, there was another man before him. She had rotated them like shifts at a factory. Kept the fantasy alive by never staying in one world too long. By Friday, she was down 2 boyfriends, 3 friends, and 1 long career built on authenticity. And me? I was quiet. She still had the house. But now, it felt like a haunted one. The house creaked differently after she left. You know how every home has its own rhythm? The hum of the fridge, the tick of the living room clock, the occasional groan of old pipes that sound like they're clearing their throat? It used to feel like background noise. Now, it sounded like an empty theater after the actors have all gone home. Echoes of lines no one remembers anymore. I didn't change anything. Not at first. Her slippers stayed by the back door. Her favorite mug, the one with the crack that made her coffee leak if she filled it too high, stayed in the drying rack. Her shampoo bottle, half-used, still mocked me from the shower caddy every morning. For a week, I lived in a museum built by someone who never planned to die in it, just sneak out the back when no one was looking. But you know what grief does? It rewires your definition of normal. At first, you think you'll burn it all, box up the pain and dump it on the curb like last week's recycling. But then you realize something. The silence isn't the enemy. It's the recovery room. Mia used to fill every corner of our home with sound. She played music in the kitchen like it was a stage. She FaceTimed friends while folding laundry like they were co-stars. She left cabinet doors open, drawers half shut, shoes scattered like clues in a scavenger hunt I wasn't invited to finish. Now? Stillness. And in that stillness, I started remembering me. Not the me she left. The me she forgot. I started small. Rearranged the living room. Swapped her Phoboho throw pillows with the ones I liked, clean lines, no tassels. I replaced the succulents she never watered with actual books. Started cooking real food again. Not just survival meals. Dishes with flavor. With memory. I played records she never liked. Read in bed until midnight with the lamp on just because I could. I stopped checking my phone like I was waiting for a ghost to text me. And the best part? The house stopped sounding sad. It started sounding mine. But Mia couldn't let go. Not really. I'd get random texts. Like she was poking the fence to see if the dog still barked. Hope you're okay. Just remembered that time in Catalina. Wild. Thinking of you. Translation? Are you still broken? Are you still orbiting me? She wanted proof that her absence left a crater. That she was the sun I couldn't live without. So I sent her a photo. Just one. Me, standing in the backyard. Grill on. Book in one hand, beer in the other. Sunlight on my face. A quiet, effortless smile. Caption: You were never the sun. Just a weather system. The skies are clear now. She didn't reply. I didn't expect her to. But I know she saw it. That tiny read, receipt? That was closure in Helvetica. The house wasn't haunted anymore. Because ghosts only stay where they're invited. And I had finally stopped setting a place for her at the table. People assume revenge is about destruction. But real revenge? It's absence. It's leaving quietly, not from a place, but from their narrative. It's when your name no longer lives in their mouth rent-free. When the echo they expect from your pain doesn't answer back. And that's what I gave Mia. Nothing. No final argument. No desperate monologue. No tragic last stand on a rainy night. Just silence. She reached out twice more. Once through a mutual friend, she wants to talk. She's sorry. Once through a typed letter in the mail, no stamp, hand-delivered like she still had the right to know where I slept. I didn't read it. That letter stayed sealed. I slid it between the pages of our old wedding album like a fossil, a preserved relic of something I'll never dig up again. Instead, I wrote a different letter. Not to her. To me. I called it, For the Man Who Stayed. It went like this. You didn't lose her. You found out who she was. And when the storm hit, you didn't shatter. You rebuilt, in silence, in dignity, in chapters she'll never read. I didn't post it. I didn't publish it. I just taped it inside the cabinet above the sink, where I used to watch her talk while doing the dishes. It's still there. A reminder that not all scars need to be seen. Months passed. I boxed up most of our shared history, souvenirs from trips, anniversary cards, a Christmas ornament she bought in a town I now pretend we never visited. But I kept the wedding album. Not to mourn, but to study. It's funny, looking at your old life like it's someone else's movie. You start spotting the red flags in high definition. There's one photo taken just after we cut the cake. I'm laughing. She's smiling. But she's looking just slightly off camera. Now I know why. Even then, she had one foot out the door. Her love was always time-stamped. Temporary. Seasonal. And me? I was permanent. Reliable. Safe. You don't realize you're the background until they try to crop you out. I closed the album and made one decision. I wasn't going to destroy the past. I was going to outgrow it. 6 months later, it came. A wedding invitation. Not hers. Someone in her orbit. One of those mutual friends who stayed neutral, like Switzerland, pretending they weren't standing next to a house on fire. The envelope was addressed to me and guessed. Inside, a note. Mia will be there. Hope that's not awkward. Oh, it would have been awkward. For her. Because I'd changed. Not in a dramatic, rom-com montage way. I didn't lose 50 pounds or grow a beard or suddenly move to Rome to find myself. But I was taller now, even if just in how I carried myself. So I didn't RSVP. I sent a gift to the couple. Simple. Polite. Classy. And on the RSVP card, I wrote, "Thank you. I won't be attending. Some stories are better left unread. It's been a year. The house is still mine. The silence? Still golden. Sometimes, I pass by a mirror and don't recognize the man staring back. Not because I've changed physically, but because this version of me no longer asks why she did it. He knows the answer. Because some people love the idea of you, the version they imagine, not the version that shows up daily with tired eyes and loyalty. And when they realize real love means showing up, not just feeling things, they leave. So now I write. Not about her. About what came after. The freedom. The peace. The quiet mornings with black coffee and unshared calendars. I'm not waiting for karma. I became it. Because the man who walked away didn't burn down the past. He buried it. Deep enough that even she won't find it again. And that photo book still sits on the shelf. A love story that ended halfway through. Because sometimes the best endings are the ones you write yourself.